Hello, my name is Tony Litt. I'm the MD of Sunrise Radio, and it's my immense pleasure to bring you the official Sunrise Radio podcast. We are the #1 commercial Asian station in the United Kingdom, with many firsts to our name, and we continue to be the voice of British Asians who have given us their love and loyalty over 30 years. It's a legacy we cherish and a responsibility that we don't take lightly. Our aim has always been to entertain the listeners with the best of Bollywood and Bhangra, while also addressing their concerns. A real voice for the community, a vibrant community, and a great nation. We are proud to be British and Asian. This podcast is a compilation of some of the things we do on the station, with a stellar lineup of presenters who each have their own personality and style. It's entertaining, informative, engaging, and we hope you will enjoy it here as a podcast if you are unable to tune in to the radio. Don't forget to subscribe and tell your family and friends about this podcast, and do leave us a comment on what you think. We'd love to hear from you. All the best always. Team Sunrise.
The UK's biggest station mix. Sunrise Radio.
Hey, my name is Shabnam Sahi. Welcome to the official Sunrise Radio podcast. On Sunrise Radio, we've partnered with Macmillan Cancer Support for a series of interviews highlighting their Let's Talk About Cancer campaign. Joining me on the podcast today, Azmina Rose. We have a very special interview for you today on living with cancer, how to cope with anxiety and worry. And it's part of our collaboration with Macmillan Cancer Support. If you or someone you care about has been diagnosed with cancer, Macmillan is here to help. Whether the question about cancer is big or small, Macmillan is here for everyone, no matter who you are or where you live. It's normal to feel anxious or worried about cancer, but talking about it might help. Whether you're concerned about treatment, your symptoms, money, or you simply want to chat, Macmillan Cancer Support will do whatever it takes to support you right now. Call the Macmillan support line for free on 0808 808 0000 for advice and help from our experts. It is open 7 days a week, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. You can also find information on the website, which is macmillan.org.uk/sunrise, or join the Macmillan online community. My guest on the show today, Azmina Rose, a Macmillan lead for personalised cancer care at a London hospital. Azmina's job involves providing people living with cancer with care and support that meets their individual needs from the moment they receive their diagnosis, so that they can live as full, healthy and active a life as possible. Azmina, welcome to Sunrise.
Thank you very much for having me.
Talk me through your role and how you support people living with cancer.
Okay, so my role as lead for personalised cancer care very much focuses on a holistic approach. So not just the clinical aspect of treating cancer and hopefully curing it or removing it, but more the emotional, financial, family impacts as well. Because as much as it's only the patient and only their body that actually goes through the cancer treatment, cancer affects the whole family. It affects colleagues at work. You know, it affects the community. And so it's really important that we are not just there for the patient themselves, but also all of the people that are important to the patient. So whereas you might expect if you go and speak to a doctor that they might ask you a question like, oh, what's the matter with you? My question is always, what matters to you? Because I want to find out what matters to the patient so that I can then target all of the support appropriately and really personalize and customize that package of care and support so that it more precisely meets the needs of that particular patient.
Azmina, what sort of worries and concerns might people have following a cancer diagnosis? What kind of questions do you get asked the most?
For me, in where I'm based, it's a hospital in a very diverse area, in North London. So for me, a lot of the questions I get are about how to talk about family or colleagues, how to talk about cancer. Because I think generally, health matters, particularly cancer, can be seen as a very private, personal matter. And we generally perhaps do not feel comfortable talking about that. added to that, sometimes there is the perception that talking about something can be equated to complaining. And of course, we are all brought up in our households to try our best not to complain.
Absolutely.
And equally, I think sometimes, particularly in our cultures and our communities, there's also this perception that, talking about something doesn't change the reality. So what is the point in talking about it? That's something that I hear a lot. And what I try to do is convince people that talking about something can really help. And actually, our Macmillan Cancer Support Line, the free phone line, we have interpreters on that line. All you have to do is say the name of the language that you feel most comfortable speaking in, and we will connect you with an interpreter. So whether that's Urdu, Gujarati, Punjabi, we have that option.
What do you advise people should do if they are experiencing worry, fear, or anxiety following a cancer diagnosis?
So I would say if you have that, and as you know, it's perfectly normal to feel very worried and anxious and also very scared, try not to keep it to yourself. And I know that can sometimes really go against your instincts, which are just to keep it to yourself because you're very busy, there's a lot to do. But actually sharing worries can help. It's the old adage, a problem shared is a problem halved. So I do encourage people to talk about their worries. If you really don't feel comfortable talking, perhaps you could write everything down. Or, you could just seek out information through something like the Macmillan website or our Macmillan booklets and leaflets to reassure you that these anxieties and worries that you're feeling are actually normal for cancer, and that pretty much every other person who is going through cancer or cancer treatment at this time is feeling very, very similarly to how you're feeling.
Azmina, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us. What you're doing is absolutely commendable. I can see how passionate you are about what you do, because once you've been given a diagnosis, like you say, it is something that affects not just the individual, but everyone around them. And the doctors, the medics will do what they need to do, but it's the other stuff that comes with it, the fear, the anxiety. What's going to happen? Where do I go? Is anybody on my side? These are the fears that sometimes make it seem a lot worse than it might be. And it's so good to know that there are people like yourself in the community there to help, support, and really hold a patient's hand through it as much as you can in so many different scenarios. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
I was in conversation with the lovely Azmina Rose, a Macmillan lead for personalised cancer care at a London hospital. And as she said, her job involves providing people living with cancer with care and support that meets their individual needs from the moment they receive their diagnosis, so that they can live as full, healthy and active a life as possible.
You can catch Shabnam Sahi, the ultimate storyteller, weekdays 9 a.m. till 12 noon.